Suffering from ulcerative colitis, day 9 of Qenda, so double dosing. So obviously you've been on the 2 scoops twice a day for 2 days now. Symptoms: still having frequent bowel motions, 5 to 7 a day. Still showing blood and mucus. Extreme fatigue, stomach cramps which are fluctuating. Diet is currently lamb and lamb broth. What foods can I add in that won't ruin the protocol? Cannot tolerate chicken or chicken products. Right, so Anonymous, yeah, ulcerative colitis, really excited to help you out. Obviously, still early days on the Qenda. You've just started your 2 scoops twice a day, so first week of that, that's when I say the magic really happens for people. Once you get on the 2 scoops twice a day, because that's when you can really start clearing out parasites. So first and foremost, because you're taking the Qenda, always have a look at your bowel movements, have a look what's coming out. I know the first time I actually saw physical parasites coming out in my stool, I was like, wow, like it felt euphoric, because I was like, wow, I can see that now. I knew the theory of having parasites create ulcerative colitis, but then when you actually see the physical parasites coming out of you, that's when you're like, oh wow, yeah, now I'm making progress, and I can see that there was something in me that was creating my issues. It's not my body letting me down, it's these parasites inside my body eating my nutrients from my food, and then dumping their waste into my body and messing up all my system and giving me this imbalance. So with you with ulcerative colitis, I'm so happy you've got on Qenda. Obviously it's very close to my heart. Yeah, still having frequent bowel movements. The Qenda obviously works by cleansing your intestines, healing the damaged intestinal lining, cleansing liver, kidneys, gallbladder. So it's going to pull out all of the infections that's in the intestine. So keep an eye out for that. And like you said, you still got a bit of blood and mucus inside your bowel movements. That's fine. What you'll find is, what I expect you to find is, when you take the Qenda, the blood and stuff will start becoming less frequent. But just know that when you're actually cleansing out parasites, as the parasites come away from the intestinal lining, obviously you've got your blood on the other side of, you've got the inside of your intestines, you've got your intestinal lining, then you've got the blood on the other side of it. So as these parasites come away from the intestinal lining, you can still get a little bit of blood, even up to the 1.5 month part. But in the time when you're taking the Qenda, expect to feel more energy, like less brain fog, so less foggy brain, like your word recall, memory recall will get a lot better. Everything will stop being so hazy, because I know how it is with ulcerative colitis. Like you feel drunk half the time when you eat like certain foods like sugars and carbs. Obviously at the moment you're just having a diet of lamb and lamb broth, because you've I know how that is when you have ulcerative colitis. You like cut out everything that seems you react to, and then you're just left with like 1 or 2 ingredients. Yeah, I was just drinking raw milk all the time before I found the Qenda. So you're asking what foods can I add in that won't ruin the protocol. So with you having ulcerative colitis, there's a few more questions I'd really like to know from you, like if you've got damp or mold in your house, because if you've got damp or mold in your house, that'll definitely be contributing to you having like mold inside your body, and then contributing to the ulcerative colitis symptoms. Everybody I've helped with ulcerative colitis, they've all had parasites, so there's definitely going to be a parasitic element to the ulcerative colitis. So I expect parasites to be coming out. But then if mold is an issue, make sure you resolve that mold in your house whichever way you can. You can get like anti-mold paint, you can get an air purifier to take the mold spores out of the air. You can even get good ventilation and circulation, and even a dehumidifier, because when you bring the humidity point down in your house, then the mold cannot live if it's not a humid environment. So combination of air purifiers, dehumidifiers, or just totally stripping out the house and getting the mold out, that will help as well. The reason why I'm mentioning mold is if you have certain foods, they can feed the mold, but you're on such a strict diet of just lamb and lamb broth now, like you said, totally cut out the foods that you know you're intolerant to. What you'll find is with the Qenda, it'll start giving you a bit of leeway, and you'll be able to eat foods that you haven't been able to eat for years before. I know when I first started having Qenda after being on like white bread, white pasta, like raw milk and stuff, I was just having everything and enjoying food again. But in this case, you want to stick to like easy to tolerate carbohydrates. I definitely keep away from gluten because you're already basically gluten free, just having lamb and lamb broth. But other meats, excluding pork, obviously, chicken's an intolerance for yourself, so keep that out. If you do, you don't really, you're getting plenty of fibre from the Qenda, so you don't really need to have too many vegetables. I know when people have got ulcerative colitis, they can react to a lot of fibre. If you are going to have fruit or veg, you can even like peel the don't have veg or fruit that has like thick skins, or if you're having an apple, you can peel the skin off the apple. I know the skin of an apple, especially an organic apple, has polyphenols in it and feeds the good bacteria, but we want to just be on easy stuff. So if you bring in like white rice, sweet potato, other forms of meat like beef, obviously whenever you're getting meat, try get grass reared, pasture raised, so the animals eating a diet that feeds it correctly, so it has the right nutrients for you. So yeah, adding in beef, obviously keeping away from stuff like chili, keeping away from gluten. Don't have stuff with like sugar in it, and then refined vegetable oils, but have the whole foods that you're not intolerant to. Obviously, we want to get your level of carbohydrates up a bit so you've got enough energy to function. If you want to stay carnivore, obviously you can stay down that route. It's entirely up to you, and you have to navigate what you're intolerant to. And some stuff you could have reacted to previously, but now you're having the Qenda, and that's helping heal the inflammation in the intestines. You'll find that you'll react to less foods. I'm very sure of that. So, like I said, good foods to eat: sweet potato, white rice. Normal potatoes have got a lot of potassium in, so that's like carbs. And obviously any vegetables like bananas are really easy to digest, especially if they're yellow bananas and not green bananas. Just start upping your protein and your carbs, so you're giving your body enough protein and energy to heal, because there's a lot going on in your body right now. Like obviously the Qenda's sort of killing off the bad stuff, and that's all got to come out. So you need to energize your body. So it's more talking about what to avoid, and avoid sugars, vegetable oil, like I said, pork, raw fish, raw meat. Definitely keep away from that sort of stuff like the sushi, and bring in the more easy to digest stuff. Keep away from gluten, and I think you'll be absolutely fine. If you want to be like if you want to bring in a diet, like sounds like you're on a very strict diet now anyway, so you can even look at the SCD diet. If you're worried about feeding the infections and the parasites, the SCD diet is more like fruits and stuff like that, and that won't feed stuff like mold. But you'll find with the ulcerative colitis, just let the Qenda do its work, eat nutritious food, and you'll be fine. So like I said, nutritious food is meats excluding pork, obviously egg yolks, egg whites. A lot of people can have an intolerance to egg whites, but they're fine with like egg yolks. So if you haven't done a food intolerance test, just keep away from the major foods that cause inflammation in the body. And like I said, that's gluten, sugar, vegetable oils, and then keep away from the stuff that can bring parasites back into the body. So keep away from like raw fish and raw meat and stuff. So